Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain about regression testing in software testing and quality assurance. So regression testing is what basically it is. So let's start with what is basically the means of regression. Regression means error that occur due to some action or activity in a system. And regression testing is done to ensure that enhancement or defect fixes made to software works properly and does not affect the existing functionality. So it is usually done during maintenance phase. As a software system as is, the cost of maintaining the software dominates the overall cost of developing the software. So regression testing is a testing process that is used to determine if a modified program still meets its specification or its new error have been introduced. Improvement in the regression testing process would help reduce the cost of software. There are so from here I think it is clear what regression testing means. Testing process that is done to find the regression in the system after doing any changes in the product. There are lots of types of regression testing is performed, like corrective regression testing, progressive regression testing, the reset test all strategy, selective regression testing. So these are the different testing techniques. So from this diagram, it is clear that what is basically the regression means. When you fix one bugs, this diagram, it is from here, that is one of the real time example is shown. When you fix one bug, you introduce several new bugs. Okay, I think it is clear by using this diagram. It is basically the regression. What strategy is used to perform the regression testing? That is, regression testing is performed by using retest all, regression test selection, prioritization of test cases. Okay, so in the very step one, first step, identify affected software component after program P has been modified to new program P dash. Select a subset of test case T dash from an existing test suite T that cover the software component that are affected by the modification. Test modified program P dash with the T dash to establish the correctness of P dash with respect to T dash. Next step, examine test result to identify failure. In the next step, identify and correct the fault that caused the failure. And the last one is the update the test suite and test history for P dash. Okay, so for these steps, we can observe the following characteristic of selective regression testing. Is that means identify the program component that must be retest and finding those existing tests that must be rerun are essential. When selected test cases satisfy retest criteria, new test cases are not needed. And when regression testing is done, it is necessary to update and store the test information for reuse at later time. And these are the different way through which we can select the test cases. Regression test selection means very first, instead of re-executing the entire test suite, it is better to select part of test suite to be run. That is one of the advantages of the regression test selection. Second one, test case selected can be categorized as reusable test case and obsolete test case. Reusable test case can be used in succeeding regression cycle, and obsolete test case cannot be used in succeeding cycle. Next, prioritization of test cases. Prioritization of test cases require a suitable cost criteria. Understand that tests with lower cost are placed at the top, while those with higher cost at the bottom. Okay, so what cost criteria to use? We could use multiple criteria to prioritize the test. Also note that the tests being prioritized are that ones selected using some test selection techniques. So each test is expected to traverse at some modified portion of program P dash. Prioritization of regression tests offer a tester an opportunity to decide how many and which tests to run under time constraint. When all tests cannot be run, one need to find some criteria to decide when to stop testing. This decision could depend on variety of factors like time constraint, test criticality, customer requirement. Okay, so that is called prioritization of test case. These are the some of the pros and cons of regression test selection. The very first, that is to ensure the effective regression test. These are the following observation we have to go through. Means code being regression tested should be under a configuration management tool. Means that the particular code that being performed by using the regression tested, that should be under go through under a configuration management tool, that is the automation tool basically. And no changes must be allowed to code during the regression test phases. Regression test code must be kept immune to developer changes basically. And the last one, the database used for regression testing must be isolated, so no database changes must be allowed. Okay, so regression testing is used to confirm the bugs have been fixed, and that new bugs have not been introduced. So how many cycle of regression testing are required will depend upon the project size, and the cycle of regression testing may be performed once per milestone or once per build. Regression tests can be automated. Okay, so this is all about the regression testing. Thank you.